Guys, what is up? We're out riding another electric vehicle today, and today I am on an insane electric scooter. Today what I have the pleasure of riding is the Leoout SX10, and this scooter has dual motors. It has eco and turbo mode. You can also put it in single motor if you want, which is really cool. You can go single or dual. And dude, let me tell you, in dual, this thing goes nuts. So what we're gonna do, you guys, is just kind of get into all of the specifications on this scooter. I'm gonna do some full speed tests to see how fast we can get this thing going. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. So guys, what I like to do a lot of times with these electric vehicles is do my first impressions. I will say, when I got this thing out of the box, this thing was, well, I shouldn't say extremely, but it was rather difficult to get out of the box, but that's not really a con because that just means it was packaged really well. It had an insane amount of styrofoam and stuff like that to keep it nice and tight where it's supposed to sit in the shipment container that it came in. So the packaging was solid, didn't have to worry about anything there, and assembly was very easy as well. Just a few bolts here and there, some bolts with the handlebars per usual, and that was pretty much it. I did do a few adjustments on like the throttle controller here and the brake levers and stuff like that, but other than that, this thing was quite easy to put together. Another thing I noticed right away with the Leoout SX10 is it does play like a very expensive scooter. Like, it has a very luxury look to it, if that's the right word, a very expensive look to it. But it's not that expensive of a scooter. We're sitting around just over $1,000 on Amazon. So you can get them on Amazon. I'll have the link in the description. But yeah, just under $1,000 for a scooter of this caliber is a very good deal in my opinion. The handlebars are adjustable if you want to make them taller or shorter depending on the size of the rider. And the scooter is also going to be able to handle right around, I believe it's 330 pounds of weight capacity. So this thing can hold up to a lot. Dual suspension in the front and rear as well. So this thing is a very, very solid scooter, especially for the price point. So we're gonna hit some of the cons really quick. My personal cons of the Leoout SX10. None of them are big. They're actually pretty minor, but we'll still call it a cons list just so you guys can have pros and cons. One is I don't love this style throttle up here. The index finger, it's kind of like a jet ski style throttle that you pull this in. Normally I don't mind this style of throttle, but it kind of gets in the way of the brake lever, so it makes it a little difficult to give it full throttle and still cover the brake with your right hand. Another quick con I am going to throw out there is the display is kind of dark, so when you're out here somewhere like Arizona, it is a little bit hard to read this display because it is so dark, but it's not a big deal, I guess. We are going to do all of these tests in kilometers per hour, not miles per hour, because that is how they advertise everything on Amazon and stuff. So I want to give you guys a good reference point. So you can pull up like a kilometers per hour to miles per hour conversion if you'd like to see those exact numbers, but we are going to stick with kilometers today. So you guys, like I already mentioned, we do have single motor, dual motor, eco, and turbo mode. So you essentially have like 4 different modes. You could do single motor in turbo or eco, and you could do dual motor in turbo or eco. So you have a bunch of options there. Obviously my favorite is dual in turbo because this thing gets cooking. So we're gonna go ahead and just hit that right here. We're gonna go across the stop sign and see how fast I can get this thing going. All right guys, here we go. We have dual motor and turbo mode equipped, so we're gonna see how fast this thing wants to go full throttle. And this thing has a lot of pickup. I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little sketchy on this thing just because it's a scooter and you're going, I mean, right now you guys, we hit 63 kilometers per hour. That is fast on a scooter. And when I say it gets sketchy, I don't mean like it's the scooter's fault. I just mean when you're going almost 65 kilometers per hour on a scooter like this, it just feels, it's an interesting feeling. You're not sitting on anything, you're just standing here. So this thing has a lot of speed to it and a lot of torque to it, especially with the dual motors on and turbo mode. Another couple minor flaws that I wish they would have done differently is when you click the single dual motor button or eco or turbo button, you just have to go based off of feeling. Like there's nothing to let you know on the display that you have turbo on or dual motor on or anything like that. That being said, you 100% will be able to tell when turbo is on or if you're in dual motor or single. Trust me, you'll be able to tell, but it would be kind of nice to know on the screen, like if it showed you if it's on or off. That would be helpful. When they're pressed in, they're on, but they press in such a small amount, it's kind of hard to tell. For any of you guys who have not ridden one of these bigger scooters, the Leoout SX10. It has like stiffer steering. I don't exactly know how to explain it, but the steering is a little bit stiff. Not really a negative thing. It's okay. It is a bigger, heavier scooter, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's just something worth noting is the the steering is a little bit stiff. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and whip this SX10 off-road really quick. We're going to go find a trail. We're going to leave it in dual motor, and we're going to leave it in turbo mode. And we're going to go see what kind of ripping we can do in the desert. And this is definitely worth mentioning. Right now, we're on our way to a trail. We're cruising at, it actually looks like we just hit 65. So I guess there's a new, yeah, we did 65 kilometers per hour. So there's the actual top speed. And it's worth noting, this thing is so smooth. I have this thing pinned full throttle, and this thing is very, very smooth. And a very important piece to the scooter is the braking is incredible. Like, so much to the point where I'm scared to do a braking test because I'm afraid if I'm going 65 kilometers an hour and I try to stop as fast as I can, that I'm going to go over the handlebars because this thing stops that quickly. The brakes really, really do. They stop this thing fast. Another thing I did not mention, you guys, is this thing does have 3 speed modes. So I obviously had this thing maxed out at 3, but you just click the mode button. It'll put you in 1, 2, or 3. And as you can see right now, we're in 1. I do have dual motors on and turbo on. We're going about 25 kilometers an hour. And then mode 2, again, keep in mind, this is with dual motors and turbo. We are going 35 kilometers per hour. And then obviously you bump it up to mode 3 and we're going like 65. So yeah. All right, so let's go hit this off-road trail really quick. Gonna whip this thing around. Fun thing about these scooters obviously is they have incredible turning radius. I mean, you can whip these things anywhere. All right, we'll go ahead and hop on. This is one of my favorite trails here. Let's see how the suspension feels, see how the tires feel. So far it feels good. This thing does have knobby tires on it, but they are also great for the street. Like I told you, they are very smooth for the street. You can't even tell they're really knobby hardly at all, honestly. But as you can see, this thing rips off-road as well. I don't feel sketched out or like I'm gonna lose any traction or anything like that. But we were going almost 50 kilometers an hour back there on the trail, so this thing is more than capable for off-road. I already knew that though. This is heavily marketed for both. I mean, it's street, off-road, kind of wherever you need to go, it'll take you. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and pull over up here, and I am going to give you guys a little rundown of the specs and everything of the Leoout SX10 electric scooter. All right, guys, this is the Leoout SX10 electric scooter right here. The Leoout, you guys, has dual motors on it. This thing is crazy. This thing has a total, I believe it's combined 2,800 watts of power. Brushless motors, one in the rear, that way, and one in the front. It's absolutely crazy, honestly. And I love that you can toggle between single wheel drive or two-wheel, all-wheel drive on this thing. The battery is a massive 52-volt, 25-amp-hour battery. It does take a little while to charge. I would say anywhere, depending on how dead it is, call it 7 hours or so, but it also depends on how many chargers you're going to use, because you can't dual charge this thing at the same time, which is crazy. And what that does is just make it charge much, much faster. You guys, the Leoout is also equipped with a headlight in the front. You can see how bright that is. It does a really good job at night, especially when you get it adjusted perfectly. It also is equipped with blinkers on the back side. Don't know how well you guys can see that, left and right, which is always a good thing to have. It is equipped with an electric horn. This thing does have some sound to it for sure. And it is equipped with an ignition for security as well, so you do need a key to start this thing up. The ignition and the controller are separate, so you're going to have to turn the ignition on and then turn your throttle controller on after the fact to get going. It does have a little stand on the back that's kind of advertised as like a wheelie bar for you to stand on that thing and wheelie it if you really want to get into it. You'd probably have some fun with that. I have not tried it yet, but I probably should. The brakes are not hydraulic, they are just mechanical, which I prefer hydraulic, but the mechanical definitely does the job. And like I said, this thing stops on a dime. So, and the Leoout SX10 collapses as well. If you need to fold it, you pretty much just pull this back and then slide this guy up and this thing's going to fold down. It's all very easy. It's in the manual, which also comes with it. The Leoout can reach up to 50 to 60 miles in range, and I believe my top speed of 65 kilometers per hour is right around like 40 miles per hour, maybe even just past that. So the thing moves for sure. And I think I probably did overestimate on charge time. It is probably closer to 5 hours. 7's probably on the higher end. Again, it depends if you're using 1 or 2 chargers. 2 chargers will cut it down massively. The tires are 10-inch thickened heavy-duty off-road tires, so these things definitely will last a long time. I put them to, I believe, about 45 PSI, but make sure to check your tires when it comes in exactly what it says. I believe I have mine to 45 PSI on the front and the back. Obviously, you guys, if you get your Leoout through the Amazon link, it comes with a warranty and everything as well, which is always nice to have in case anything ever happens to go wrong. You don't really have to worry about that and you're covered. Once you fold this scooter down, it is 50 by 25 by 19, I believe is the dimensions of the scooter. And it only weighs about 88 pounds once it is fully folded and collapsed. So you can really throw this into your vehicle in the trunk, wherever you want, or just for storage purposes. It has a nice slim design, and so far I really do like it for what it is. So yeah, guys, that is the Leoout SX10 electric scooter. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong with this thing. Just over $1,000 on Amazon, which again, in my opinion, is nuts for the price. This thing goes crazy. So again, if you guys are interested in your very own Leoout SX10, click the Amazon link below, go check it out. You wouldn't be disappointed. Again, assembly was very easy. It comes with all the tools, the charger, and the manual, everything you need to get started. You can basically buy it. Once it shows up, you can go rip it around pretty much immediately. Just give it a nice little charge. But I want to thank you guys for watching the video. Definitely leave a like or subscribe if you like moto content. And I will see you guys next ride.